Well, what's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. So we got even the Democrats, pro-Democrat network CNN isn't buying it anymore. The lies from the hypocrites. So with no further ado, family, get this video a big thumbs up. It helps crush that YouTube algorithm. It's totally free. And let's get into it.
Right, so new day, same question. Where the heck is Kamala Harris? Kamala, come out, wherever you are. That's what the people are saying. You're running for the damn presidency. Don't you think you ought to address the nation? Answer.
That's funny. RFK Jr., Tushley, Trump, Elon, they all in a group with Mr. Crab. That's right, keep moving. And then that's when Mr. Krabs said, except you stay. And the clown was supposed to be Kamala, and Kamala like, what? Oh, left out. That's crazy.
Tough questions? Well, apparently not. And it's really no surprise why. The mainstream media is doing what the mainstream media does best, bringing on a bunch of Democrat clowns to defend Kamala Harris's position, or I guess her actions or lack thereof. But what they're saying obviously makes absolutely no sense. Let's have a conversation about it, and of course, highlight the actual truth why Kamala Harris is so freaking scared and why she's trying to duck these debates. It's actually pretty simple, and we have some video evidence to prove it. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so like I said, the media is doing what the media always does, gaslighting you into oblivion. I'd say it's a pretty standard, pretty straightforward request that somebody running for president ought to answer questions and do public interviews, but apparently it's only press and insiders that care about this issue.
Keisha, I mean, you know Kamala Harris well. I mean, she's done press conferences, she's done interviews. I mean, some of this, I think, is trying to stay on message, right? And something Trump has had some trouble with.
I believe that
Trump had trouble with. Bro, what interviews that she done? And who have done more interviews than who? Let's be real here.
it's only an insider conversation. Obviously, those in the media may want to see her doing the interview, and insiders are talking about her sitting down to do an interview. But I can tell you, in the hundreds of people that I've talked to about this campaign, not one person has mentioned having a care about whether or not she sits down to do an interview. And I do believe that will happen in due time.
I mean, holy friggin' moly. How wrong can one human being be? Not exactly sure, but this person is certainly pushing the known thresholds of dishonesty. It's only the elite Republican press that care about Vice President Kamala Harris doing interviews. Give me a break. You mean the press that's 90+% Democrat shills?
Like, goddamn. Come on, tell it now.
Them who care? No, most of those insiders and press people are the ones defending Kamala Harris. You know, once again, you got these Democrats treating the American people as if they're stupid. What an utter insult, as if we don't know the truth. I mean, for Pete's sakes, even some Democrat shills in Hollywood can admit the clear reality.
Sometimes it's just about winning, and it doesn't matter how we look at this moment. It's about winning.
Right.
This is about winning.
Yep. No, it is.
It's a mad dash, and she is running, and she's not stopping to stumble.
And you know what?
And there's nothing wrong with stopping this. I'm going to vote for her anyway, no matter what she says in a stupid interview.
Exactly.
So don't shit up.
You're right. I couldn't be more on that page.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty obvious, not only to Republicans, but even
Man, this man said, I'm going to vote for her anyway.
lifelong Democrats, that the strategy here is to hide Kamala Harris because she's currently ahead of the polls and they're hoping to ride this momentum straight to the election. They don't want to jeopardize their momentum by having Kamala Harris.
It's like they got the ball and they scared to fumble it. So they don't want to make any sudden moves. But in reality is the more you don't address the people, which their vote is their voice, you're going to start fumbling the ball anyway. Because you can't keep running around with the ball hogging it. Because at the end of the day, that's like you hogging the ball from the quarterback. Metaphorically, the quarterback is us, the people, which is the voice, which is we are the voters, and our voice turns into our vote. But you're the running back hogging the ball away from the quarterback and never giving the quarterback back the ball. Or even sharing or even interacting with the quarterback to make sure things are more effective and things are very efficient in regards to being successful running plays, right? Or running the play for the overall best interest of the team. So it's like the ball's in her court right now. She's hogging it. But at the end of the day, she don't have no best interest for the voters. or the American people at all. She just want to keep the momentum on her, and she's afraid to lose that spotlight. But like I say, everyone has their shine. Enjoy it while it lasts, because and how you conduct yourself when you do have the limelight will expose everything.
Speak, that's the obvious reality. And everybody knows it, but these shills continue. If it's not one DNC shill telling you that actually the people don't care about Kamala Harris doing public interviews, it's just the press, it's another Democrat shill telling you that you're actually crazy, that it's a made-up issue, and Kamala Harris is doing all kinds of public events and speaking directly to the voters.
She's doing events low-key, with Divine Nine and sorority groups? Let me back to her real quick.
And Kamala Harris is doing all kinds of public events and speaking directly to the voters.
She had to build that capacity. She also just chose her vice president as a running mate.
Hang on.
The press was not her top priority.
We're talking about the vice president of the United States. She's been preparing to be president allegedly for 3.5 years.
She's also been doing a lot of interviews as vice president.
So therefore, she should have been able to do an interview on the first day. Why isn't she?
It's not a question of ability. It is one of campaign measuring.
No, it's one. She doesn't want to answer.
How much she needs to be.
She doesn't
out
want to
and visiting
answer for the fact that she was against fracking. She was against private insurance.
In ways
she was
that
against
Joe Biden
gasoline
could not.
cars.
And
she doesn't want to talk
where they
about
are
it.
and having those conversations every day.
She's
talking about it.
That's like you saying that you sign up for that's like you saying you apply to a position and you don't want to do the interview. Like, what are we talking about here, man? At the end of the day, I'm sure she anticipated it, like he said, way before, from a premeditative standpoint, that she was going to run for president or attempt to. And at the end of the day, you already still being in a seating position in the White House, and you're not getting out there interacting with the people. It seemed like to me she's just too much on her high horse. So she got to get humbled a bit or something.
People who actually cast votes in November.
And she should do an interview. I'm just politically saying, Brad, and you have to acknowledge that it hasn't been that bad to this point.
She's going to show up. It is coming.
She'll show up at NPR somewhere like that, but she's not going to take tough questions.
On a network.
This woman right here, she's like a masculine woman. She's very masculine when it comes to her approach. She's very aggressive. Like, calm down. Everybody talking to you calm, and she's getting so defensive. So defensive, bro.
She's going to have a sit-down conversation. She has already said, her campaign has already said that that's going to happen. If you're waiting for the day, everybody else is waiting for the day.
It's a month.
She's actually on the ground. She's doing bus tours across the state of Georgia. She is talking to the voters.
The last
the voters
one
are
in
the
the room.
people who are going to make
Let's
this decision.
What an absolute farce. These people always show exactly who they are. Dishonest propagandists. They're just straight up liars, and you know what? Okay, go for it. You know, I find it frustrating. Frankly, I find it disgusting that they're doing this, but at the same time, they're totally exposing themselves. The same people who talk about transparency and accountability, the same people who criticize Donald Trump for playing golf, are now here again vehemently defending another basement candidate.
It's crazy,
Another
man.
Democrat too scared to face the heat and more insulting.
It's like, for example, Donald Trump wanted to close the borders. He got all the heat. Well, when Obama was making sure the borders was protected, Donald Trump wanted to protect the borders. He got all the heat. When Obama wanted to protect the borders, he didn't get no heat. Kamala Harris opened the borders, and people just bypassing it, bro. Like I don't know, man. It's so contradicting and so interesting how easily people could get swayed by lies.
Too scared to face the American people, and they expect these BS justifications to pass. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think that's going to happen because most people have an IQ above room temperature, and we can see what's really going on here. It's obvious why Kamala Harris doesn't want to do interviews, and more specifically, doesn't want to do interviews that aren't complete softball interviews. Mostly because, well, Kamala Harris tends to fall apart when put in a position of explaining very simple concepts.
On a different front, Axios this week reported that President Trump, if he gets a second term, will sort of dial back, for lack of a better term, DEI programs that the Biden administration has put in forth. I know you disagree with that. I obviously believe that you don't want him to get a second term. That said, if that does happen, what do you think that would do to race relations?
DEI programs didn't earn it. Did not earn it. Didn't earn it.
Country.
Well, let me say we're going to win, so it's not going to happen. But I think that, listen, today is actually, I believe, an anniversary in terms of Dr. King, right? And I was just in Selma, and we acknowledged the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. I think it's really important that we as Americans always...
Yo, she speak the same way, bro. Look at her eyes. Look at her eyes. Oh, my goodness, caught her. We caught her, family. Look at her. That's how her mind be spinning. Look, I feel like it's very important. I think it's really important. Like, bro.
Our history, the parts that we're proud of and the parts that we're not proud of, but that we can't forget. And we should all agree that we should teach history. We should learn history if we're to ever have an accurate idea of where we want to go and where we don't want to go in the future. And that means also acknowledging the importance of diversity. It means acknowledging the importance of the fact that everyone should have equal opportunity to compete and equity. And then, of course, inclusion, that, hey, let's look around the room and see.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Trash. Let's go based off credentials. People that work for it. People that have actually qualified, right?
Who's not here? And did we leave the door open?
Yep.
Check it out. Check it out.
You driving a Fiat?
This is crazy, bro. This is crazy. We gotta stop this mess.
Complete word salad nonsense. Right there is the top of Kamala Harris's capabilities. That's arguably one of the most coherent answers or responses I've ever heard her give on a tough subject. She is a disaster. And she's also in a very tough position where she's essentially undergone a total political makeover or rebranding of sorts the moment she announced her candidacy, and she's got to justify it all. She's got to justify the fact that she once said that she wants to ban fracking, but now she doesn't agree with that stance. That she once said she wants to eliminate private health care, but now she no longer supports.
She didn't agree with a lot of things, or what she once said, or she doubled back. The borders, the Israel funding Israel, like, bro.
Position. She also claimed on multiple occasions that Trump's border wall was racist.
The President of the United States has a vanity project that he doesn't want to give up.
It's the president's vanity project.
This issue is about a vanity project for this president.
Right. The president's vanity project. We are not facing a crisis.
We have a president of the United States.
We're not facing a crisis, but the result that happened is we end up becoming to be in a crisis. And if I'm not mistaken, California just passed a bill where undocumented immigrants get 150 something. They get a lot of money. I know that. Let me go back. I couldn't stomach it, man. I couldn't stomach it. I have to inform you guys about this information that I came across because it's mind-blowing, okay? It's mind-blowing. And I feel like I have to share this with you guys because this is where road we're going down, man. And she doesn't want to talk about it. So, the California State Senate has passed a bill providing undocumented immigrants up to $150,000 in state-supported home loans, bruh.
Who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
The idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making.
But now, in her desperate bid to get elected, she's running campaign ads highlighting Trump's border wall.
Yep,
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. fixing the border is tough.
I don't understand this
so
woman,
is Kamala
man.
Harris.
I don't think she know.
Kamala Harris. And
I don't think she know which way she want to go, bro. Like, this is annoying, bro. Like,
this message.
make your
And
mind
even
up.
going as far to promise that she's going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars continuing the project. How is P for Brains Kamala going to be able to explain all that? Going to be able to defend herself
She can't
against an
explain
actual
nothing now.
journalist? Of course, without looking like a complete incoherent fool who's totally detached from any semblance of common sense and reality. I don't know how she's going to do it, and obviously I'm not the only one thinking that. It seems her own campaign shares the exact same view. They don't want her out there because they know she's a disaster, and so they're hiding her and trying to convince you that it's perfectly normal and acceptable when it's clearly not. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you
Comment down below, family, how you guys feel about Kamala Harris doubling back on her words and CNN with pro-Democrats being affiliated with the CNN network, sitting here basically trying to defend that she hasn't stepped out to interview nothing and she has to prepare herself, and she has been out there supposedly interviewing and been on the grounds and been on the buses, you know, in Atlanta and so forth and so forth. Comment down below. I believe it's just messy propaganda, full of lies. This woman don't know where she want to go. She don't know if she don't know her left from her right. But that's just my opinion. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give this video a big thumbs up. On that note, family, peace.